Hello everyone and welcome to another Digimon Dreamers translation video. This time we're going to be translating Chapter 8 of Digimon Dreamers, and this is from the June issue of Saikyo Jump. So let's get started. We have some non-Digimon extras like a poster and some cards from Dragon Ball, but we're interested in the Digimon portion of this issue. So let's get started. So, Digimon Dreamers, and we can see that we have a Digimoji chart matched up with various hiragana on the side here. So that's pretty exciting. I know that it's been a while since the franchise has done anything to do with Digimoji translating directly to hiragana, and what I mean by that is that the D-Terminal release in Japanese had this chart, and basically it's been that. I know that we've seen Digimoji being in the show and in various pieces of media for Digimon, but we haven't had the chart being shown for quite a while, so that's pretty nice to see. And we have Pokemon saying that knowledge is important for evolution. And then we have a really cute shot of Ritsu and Pulsemon, Patamon, and a bunch of baby Digimon hanging out. And the name of the chapter is called Call Me Starmon, or they call him Starmon. I'm not really sure exactly what the translation would be there. It's either Call Me Starmon or they call him Starmon. Either way, somebody is calling somebody Starmon. I wonder who that Starmon might refer to. Let's read on. So we are in the Asunaro village, and Ritsu asks Pulsemon, "Hey pal, what you doing?" And then Pulsemon says, "Oh, Ritsu, actually I was..." Paru? So pal? And then he's like, "Pal?" And he makes this fairly hilarious face. And is still making said hilarious face. And Ritsu asks him, "What's that face for?" And Pulsemon begins to lecture Ritsu. He's like, "Why would you call me that name? That name isn't very cool. I don't like that name." And then Ritsu's like, "Well, Pulsemon is pal, right?" And then Pulsemon is saying, "That's not good, that's not good. That name is far too cute. I'm not cute. Don't call me that name. Do you understand? That is a name that you would give your cute partner, but it doesn't suit me at all. Do you got it?" And Pulsemon is still not handling this name. He's saying that he's going to evolve into something too cute now, and he's really not too happy about being called this. And Ritz is like, I guess I embarrassed him by calling him Pal. And then Ritz is like, "Well, anyway, what are you doing?" And Pulsemon says that he's practicing his signature. And then we have Patamon translating the Digimoji and saying, it says Saikyo, which, if you recall, name of this, Saikyo, strongest. So he's like, you're writing it as strongest. And then Pulsemon says that he's like, "Yep, that's what you're going to call me. I am called Saikyo, strongest." And the reason why I'm saying Saikyo, not strongest, is because he's basically making a reference to this magazine, as we'll see shortly. And then we have Ritsu saying, that's too bad. And then here is where he references the name of it. He says, "Apologize to the strongest jump. Saikyo jump." See, that's why. And he's like, "Oh, that's just an act. It's not too bad." And then all of a sudden, we have somebody saying, "That piece of paper, that flyer, do you want my signature?" And then he's like, "Nope." He's like, "Of course, you would want my signature, boy." And then he's like, "Oh, what about my signature? My signature's the best," says Pulsemon. And then Starmon is kind of saying, "Hey, don't just straight up do graffiti on me." And he's signing his name as Saikyo. And then Ritsu's like, "That Digimon certainly is." And then Bokumon's like, that's Starmon. He has the best win rate, best battle rate out of all the Digimon, and he's the self-proclaimed star. And Starmon's like, ha ha ha, yep, that's me, I'm great. And then we have Starmon saying that he is the star at the center and the creation of the universe, so you can just call him the Big Bang. Pulsemon is not handling this at all. He's like, what? And then we have them still not really handling this. And then he's like, oh, okay, this is the town full of this wonderful meat that'll be suitable for me. We have Tanemon welcoming him to the villager's farm. And then we have kind of Tanemon trying to sell him on this meat, like, oh, this will be a great, wonderful souvenir for you as a visit to this town. And each one is 1,000 bits. And then he's like, oh, no, I don't have to pay. This is perfect for me. This is suitable. I don't have to pay for this. And we have Ritsu kind of saying that he's being an entertainer. He's kind of all an act. And then everyone is going to just basically say that he is a meat thief, similar to how Ogamon was in the early chapters of this manga. So we have, Niku Dorobo, which is just literally meat thief. And it's the same thing that the characters called Ogamon back at the start of the manga. So then Starmon says, no, I don't have money, I don't have to pay. And Tanemon's like, hey, Starmon's like, hey, I'm just gonna taste a little bit, just a little bit. And then Starmon basically starts reviewing it like he's on one of those cooking shows. It's like, the flavor, the sweetness of this meat, it's perfect for me. It's so varied. It's such a varied taste. It's basically what you would hear on one of those like Iron Chef shows where they really sort of over-explain the taste that they're having. They don't just say it's good or I like this flavor. They sort of make it more poetic than just that. And he's like, oh yes, this is suitable for the Big Bang. And then Tanemon says, well, actually, that's just the normal meat. It's for comparison. And then he's like, normal? And then we have Ritsu, Patamon, and Pulsemon all saying third rate in different ways. We have Ritsu saying Sanryo, third rate, with the kanji. We have Patamon saying Sanryu with the hiragana. And then we have Pulsemon saying Sanryu in the katakana. So they're all mean the same thing, but they're saying it in different ways, which is kind of a cute touch. And then Starmon tells them not to call him that. And he's like, well, you kind of just ate the cheap meat. And then he disappears. And then he's like, oh, he's the champion of talking, basically. It's Kuchi Dake Bansho. So Bansho as in chief. You probably heard that before, Bansho Leomon, etc. But Kuchi Dake Kuchi is mouth, and Dake is just. So he is the chief of all talk, basically. And then Starmon's like, what? And Starmon does not particularly handle that quite well. He is kind of insulted by Pulsemon just saying that he's all talk. And basically Starmon's going to have him a bit of a lesson. Like, he's going to show him, what happens when you disrespect the Big Bang. So he then uses his attack, Meteor Skoru. So he uses that attack on Pulsemon, and he says, like, oh, this is what you get when you insult Starmon. When you insult me, I'm going to rain down all these stars on you. And then we have Pulsemon doing his evolution, and we have Ritsu screaming, evolve, pal! And then he just evolves the feet, which we've seen this before now. So we have them saying like, oh, he took off. And Starmon's like, what? The legs? And he's like, ha ha ha, inside of me I have the power of Bulkmon. And then Starmon's like, what? And then Pulsemon kind of reverts. But then he evolves the head. And Starmon is obviously still very confused about what's going on. He's like, oh, it's like you evolved, but you're still Pulsemon. And Pulsemon / Bulkmon's head headbutts Starmon. And then he's like, what? What was that, boy? And he's kind of confused about all this. And then Tanemon says, look, why don't you have some Asunaro meat? It'll make you feel better. And Ritsu is asking Pulsemon if he's okay. And then we have Patamon saying, oh, you want to evolve, you had feelings about changing, and how Ritsu still called him pal and it was still able to get him to evolve. And then we were like, oh, it's what we've seen before. It's kind of like praising their bond that he was able to evolve. And Ritsu says, I was able to be your cheer squad, basically, and you're able to evolve. And then we have Bokumon saying, oh, by the way, and he pulls out his dictionary and says, paru, pal, means friend or teammate. And then we have, oh, what? That's the meaning too? And then we have Pulsemon saying, oh, I'm Ritsu's pal, I'm his friend. And then he's like, as I thought, you are my pal. And then we have pal in Digimoji. And that's the end of that chapter. So I'm not actually too thrilled with chapter 8. I felt like it kind of treaded over ground we'd already had before. It was kind of like the Ogremon chapter again. We had a Digimon come in and basically be really self-important, really have a big opinion of themselves, and then basically start to steal the meat because they thought that they deserved it. And then we have Pulsemon semi-evolving to defeat the Mon of the Week. I did like how there was a bit of confusion about him being called pal because his pal as in friend, but Pulsemon didn't interpret it that way at first. So that was kind of cute, but overall, that's all there is to this chapter. I felt like it felt like filler, which, that's kind of like a good thing that we're getting filler. It means that maybe this manga, this series will go on for more than just a few chapters. Already we've been doing much longer than we did for Atmon Gakuen, which was only, I think, 6 or 7 chapters from memory. And this one's at 8, and it looks like we might be getting a little bit more. We're not even fully evolved to Bulkmon. I don't know if we're going to be getting to Ultimate or anything. Well, it's Ultimate / Mega. So that's pretty exciting. I'm enjoying to read more of this, but this one felt very much like filler, and I kind of want more than that. But in any case, I'm still enjoying it. It's still funny. I love the artwork, and I'm excited to read more. So what were your thoughts about this chapter? Let me know in the comments. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!